there's a way that they make our dreams come true. But then when you even now get into HR, you know, there's so many different aspects of HR. There are also different times of your life as well. You know, I always speak to this because your life is also in seasons. And then you'd also want to look at the kind of organizations that you would want to work for. Do you want to be in a certain industry? Would you like to have would you like to have experience in different industries, or just one industry? Would you like to specialize or to be a generalist? I was in a training session earlier today around 9 o'clock. Okay, it's coming in now. And then the facilitator, you know, had mentioned that I mean, she's not going to advise anyone to be a specialist. Because right now, you know, things are really changing, and we are hearing about all these new different kinds of HR roles that are coming up in the future. Forbes still published an article recently. So I'll just wait for Gbenga's audio to come on, and then I'll say hi. Forbes, hi Gbenga. How are you? Okay.
Hi, Gbenga.
Hi. How are you?
Sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening. We can hear you too. It's great to have you here in our midst. You're welcome.
How you doing?
Tolu, can you please mute your mic? Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So hi, Gbenga. How are you doing? Are you ready for us, or should we give you a second? I was just doing like an introduction, so maybe I should continue with that.
Give me like continue with the introduction.
Okay. All right. So so as I was saying, guys, so he said we should continue with the introductions. Forbes published an article recently and had said all these various sort of listed various, you know, HR roles that are going to come up in the future. And amazing. You just keep seeing different things: chief happiness officer, you know, remote support executive, you know, various things. And we have to be ready. I know that about 8 years ago, about 7 years ago, when someone spoke to me, someone had advised me that he would advise me to go down a more specialist route. Meanwhile, right now we're hearing something different, you know, at least to be very relevant for the workplace right now, maybe one or two, you know, competencies in HR. Definitely you want to have about 2 or 4 that you can be really, really well grounded in. But then beyond even the specialties in HR, how do you ensure that you remain relevant, you know, as a HR professional? How do you go through the various transitions in your career? Some of us had opportunities to grow through the ranks, and then you had to be an executive before you became a supervisor, before you became an assistant manager. Some people didn't have that luxury. For example, my very first role that I got in HR, I started heading 3 months after I got into HR. I had a leader at first, but then the owner of the organization directed the leader to another part of the business, and then I suddenly found myself alone. And you know, I had to learn a lot of things on my own. I had to read a lot. I had to do so many things at the same time. So, and if you are not very aware of how your career can be different from the next person's career, sometimes you might just get into some sort of comparison, and then you start to compare yourself with another. Meanwhile, you're on a different journey. So Gbenga is going to come in and shed light on that. It's
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, you are ready. It's not going to be a presentation as such, because we want this to actually, and I discussed this with Gbenga, we want this to really, how do I explain this now? We want, Gbenga wants to ensure that everybody's concern, everybody's question, everybody's problem is addressed. So he will do like some sort of introduction or say something brief, like a summary, and ask you guys questions. I think that's what he had said. And then we will just take it as we go. But before he comes on board, and I would like you guys to give him, unmute your mics. Once I'm done with this introduction, I'm just going to make it. You guys should please unmute your mics and just give him a round of applause, and then we'll start. I mean, we need to give him a warm welcome. Gbenga is a highly sought after thought leader, and I mean, this is someone that is very busy. So I am so honored that he said yes to come and speak with you guys. Gbenga is not just the director at CIPM, he also is the principal partner at Allen and Grant. And I mean, he does a lot of these initiatives, and you know, he's a very, very, very busy man. So let me just read a little bit from his profile. I can't take it all so that we don't eat into the time. Gbenga Totoyi is an emerging HR thought leader with solid interest in people development, organizational design, and institutional change. His focus is on helping organizations discover and align their long-term aspirations with the people, process, and policy requirements needed to achieve their goals in the most efficient manner. He's currently the Director of Membership and Market Development at the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, having recently executed a transformation of the Learning and Consultancy Directorate of the same institute. I mean, before that, he had worked, was the head of all pre-incubation, incubation and accelerator programs at Co-Creation Hub Nigeria, which was the country's first open living lab and incubation hub, functioning at the heart of Nigeria's technology innovation ecosystem. Gbenga's professional HR experience spans about 16 years in consulting and corporate organizations, cutting across all major sectors of the Nigerian economy, as well as across Africa and Europe. He has been at the forefront of turning around the learning and organizational development function of organizations by creating structured corporate academies, building competency frameworks, conducting HR and people audits, leading large volume recruitment assignments, and more for organizations like the Nigerian Ports Authorities, NDDC, First Bank of Nigeria, GT Bank, Cordos Capital, Meristem Securities, Mutual Benefits Assurance, Integrated Diaries Limited, Google, Facebook, Access Bank, Netcom Africa, Telno Group, a telecom infrastructure support company. Allow me, Gbenga, please let me just toot your horn right here. He constantly enjoys coaching, mentoring, and providing answers to workplace and performance-related questions to many younger professionals around him. He's a partner at Allen and Grant, a people development company offering end-to-end innovative solutions to organizations operating across different sectors of the Nigerian economy. The firm operates in 6 core practice areas, that is advisory, strategy, design and execution, training, recruitment, people analytics, and audits and outsourcing. Gbenga is happily married with an adorable daughter and lives in Lagos, Nigeria. Guys, please let us give him a solid welcome, please. A round of applause. We are so honored to have you here, Mr. Totoyi. We do not take this for granted. We're so honored. So let's go. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bumi. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Pleasure to be here. So this, I understand it's for like an hour. And like Bumi mentioned, for those of you who know me or who have been in one or two of my sessions, I think in the last 2-3 years, I sort of like changed my model a little bit. The moment I see that I'm not teaching like 4 hours or teaching for the whole day, and I'm to speak to a diverse group of people, I just feel that sometimes when I come to them to teach, I may be leaving more questions in the minds of people. So I literally like to say, hey, we have about 20 of us here today. For a group of us that are going through this sort of program, you will have more specific questions in your mind, or there are areas where you require clarification. So first off, things I know I will share. True. Please take whatever it is I say as advice. They are not commands, they are not decrees, they are not practices. Now, why this is important is because you all have your individual journey and your realities are different from mine. One thing I guarantee you, though, is that I've seen a couple of things in my career as well. I've seen the highs, the lows, the extremely ugly, and the most exciting things in my career. I've seen things. I've been in meetings. I've been on projects. I've walked into rooms where, I mean, I literally know that if it's not God, I wouldn't be here. So, and because of what I do, and the place that I occupy in the industry, I'm also, I have my ears and eyes to the ground. I sort of see what's going on from the policy standpoint to practice and things like that on a daily basis. On a daily basis. So one thing you can guarantee is that I think I have an expanded view of what's going on, and I will share from that standpoint. So yeah, that's what I'd like to say. I
Thank
understand
you.
that what we want to deal with today is navigating your career growth in HR. So I understand some of us are not currently in HR. I understand you just want to transition to HR. So before it gets to you, just know that I'll ask you the question why. Why do you want to transition to HR? And for those of us that are in HR, I know some of us are in HR, some of us are young, some of us are mid-level. I'm a very young person myself. Um, so what I like to do, and Bumi, you'll have to help me here. I
Okay.
would honestly like to know and hear questions from everyone, and I'll do my best to attend to all the questions. So use the comment section to drop your questions. Bumi will help me coordinate, and or perhaps some of you would rather want to say your questions audibly. And maybe we can start with about 4 or 5 of those, and then we can roll it on. Afterwards, I will then say 1 or 2 to wrap it. So let's do this. Who's going first?
Okay. Gbenga, just one feedback though. I noticed it and I just sent a message to your WhatsApp, and somebody also said it there. Your voice sort of is fluctuating. It's not really like we can't hear you, but it seems to be undulating, like it's just going up and down. Yeah, so I don't really know why. And yes, and I've been in sessions with you before, and that was not an issue. So I really don't know. So just
So
let
just
that.
give me a second.
What did you say? Okay, I should give you a second.
Just give me a second.
Okay, so guys,
let's go on. Let's go on with the questions. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So to make the session as impactful as possible and to be sure that we address specific needs and actual questions that exist. I mean, it's not like it can come in and just say something and just do a presentation and dash out some PowerPoint slides, but we want this to, be relevant. So let's, in the comment section, please drop your questions. If you have specific questions, just drop them in there. If you want to, you also can decide to ask your question by raising your hand. So I'll just unmute the mic, and then I would allow you to ask your question specifically. Any area that is bothering
I think we can take about 3 or 4 like that to start with, and then others can drop their questions in the chat room.
Okay, all right. So I don't know, is there anybody that wants to ask something? Do you have any particular questions? Okay, so I know that some of you have issues about transitioning to HR. That I know because I had gone through the data of some of the questions. Okay, I can see some questions coming in already, so we'll take that. I'd gone through the data about some challenges and what you guys were looking forward to when you decided to join. When you decided to join this group, and one of that was, how do I transition into HR? So if you have those kind of questions that you want to ask, you can say it right now, although Gbenga would address that. I also saw questions about certifications and qualifications. I do certifications versus experience? Those kind of questions. We also had people that were asking about how to break into HR, how to even just get into the job market. We all know the challenges that we have with that currently. So just think about your questions and let's know what it is. If you want to ask any question specifically, you can just unmute your mic and then you just ask. But I have a question here, Gbenga. Somebody asked, are professional examinations, this is saying my internet connection is unstable. If you can't hear me, just let me know. Are professional examinations very crucial to becoming a specialist?
Okay, great. Yeah, I can hear that. Is my voice breaking now?
No, it's better now.
Or is it a bit stable?
It is stable now.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So I think I would. So I suspect following that question will be question. So let me start with that.
Okay.
Like I said, I suspect that one of the many questions should be, what should I be, a specialist or a generalist? Now, I used to have a position on that, but over the years, it has sort of changed. I've oscillated in my views on that question back and forth a little bit. But let's look at it this way. I think I have two career paths two other professions that we can use to explain this. One is the medical field and the other is the military. Now, you want to do anything in medicine, say you want to be, so there are medical doctors and there are surgeons. Medical doctors are sort of general practitioners.
Okay.
And then surgeons are specialist practitioners.
Okay.
That's one way to look at it. But they are both in the medical space. Now, the second answer to that though is you can't. So the education to be a general medical doctor or a surgeon is relevant for both. It's almost like you have to go through, in Nigeria, for instance, 8 years of medical school for you to become a medical doctor. Then you do, I think, another 1 year or 3 years or so in a specialist area to be a surgeon in that area, right? But you can't jump past that 8-year program or completely disregard it and tell yourself, no, I want to be a pediatrician. So I will just go right into, give me 1 year of education that other surgeons go through, then I will be a surgeon. You can't do that. Yeah. And I'm saying that because I see confusion in the space where, of a truth though, guys, the truth is that you can be a successful generalist as a medical doctor. No, sorry, let me use the other example. The other example is the military. Where you have military people and then you have Navy SEALs, or you have general people in the military, or you have SWAT teams, or you have Navy SEALs. Their level of specialty is higher. The kind of job and assignments they do is higher. And I dare say the kind of money they command is higher. But what I also know that people don't tell is that not many people, one, are built for that level of specialty. Number two, not many people are willing to sacrifice and go through the extra demand or extra requirements to produce that level of excellence. But a lot of people see it and desire it. So my advice is always, and I honestly hope that I can use this session to help some young HR people who now run away from general admin work very early on in their careers.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it's becoming too much in the market and it's hurting people's careers. Guys, your first 3, 5, if you don't mind, 7 years in HR, you might be spending it in one, generalist roles, which is great. By the way, you might even be spending it in general admin roles. If you do not believe in what I'm saying, go read up on Dave Ulrich. One of the 5 competencies HR people must build is administrative effectiveness. Yeah. That's English. The pure word is that go and learn admin. Learn how to use Excel, learn how to write memos, learn how to write reports, learn how to do a support to another person, learn how to arrange meetings. All those, go do this, go do that. Learn how to put your thoughts together. All those general admin things very early on in your career helps. You want to be a specialist, for instance, when it comes to performance management. Auntie, go learn how to use Excel. Go learn how to have different tables and compare. And for you to go do that, for instance, you may have to be running large recruitments.
Okay.
And doing interviews for different people and different people meeting. You see, repetition is powerful. Repetition builds competence. And it's in admin-related roles that you build such competence. Now, let me leave that because I can just spend the whole day on that. Those 2 tracks are great. So first is that you can be a generalist, and it's great to be there and be very successful at it, right? And you can go a step further and say, I want to become a specialist afterwards. Now, in reality, what I know is that some of us start our careers in a specialist role, and you can go through that and become a specialist. But what I've known is that if you intend to then head HR or move into general senior HOD or director level roles, you will have to at some point switch and do more generalist related roles, right? Before you can then move, which is the advantage. And if you see some people who have grown through that track, when they then become HRDs and things like that, they have like a specialist area that they lean on. If and when I ever become an HRD, for instance, I would, anybody that works in my learning and OD department or works in my performance department will enjoy me, because those are areas where I have built specialist knowledge over the years. I will probably struggle in rewards or compensation and benefits. I will struggle in employee relations. But trust me, in my years in consulting, I built competence around those areas. Now, the proficiency levels in my competence may not be the same, right? But at least I am aware of those things. So it's important that you have that balance. Either you start out in specialist areas and you want to just go through that and be the very best when it comes to L&D. It's great. Just know that it will require more from you. You have to put in more hours, because you are not talking about specialist knowledge, where in most cases your advice is taken for what it is. And it may cost people their careers or cost organizations. So you had better be careful how you want, and it takes time, guys, to develop that level of specialty. If you want to be a generalist, fantastic. So that answers the next question, which is, if you want to be a specialist, should you do certification exams? Yes, you should, and you have to, because generalist knowledge will not help. What you may have may be you are aware. So for instance, in the compensation space, I am aware, I have awareness level knowledge when it comes to comp and ben, pay this, pay that, regulatory deduction. I'm aware. But if anyone is asking me, you know, I want to be a specialist, by the way, there are not very many people there, I will tell you, go look up the World at Work. That's the global body for people in compensation and benefits, World at Work. They are the best in the industry. If you want to say be a talent management person, there is the Talent Management Institute, for instance. So those are the things that I will advise when it comes to special. You have to, you will go beyond what everybody sees. You will have some deep expertise knowledge. If I use the military, for instance, or SWAT teams or Navy SEALs, these are people who, if you watch series or do documentaries, they don't just learn to be people in the army. They can, if you look at people who are snipers, for instance, they can shoot from some mount. They understand the wind movements. They have some crazy knowledge. By the way, I love such series, so you can tell. They have some really, really deep, it's called deep expertise that comes from years and years of knowledge and practice, okay? That'll be my answer to that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So guys, I mean, I heard this first from someone that trained me at CIPM. I was at a training at CIPM, and I think that was Tomini Ioni. And then he said that he doesn't understand why we're always talking, HR people will always strategy. We just want to be strategic. We want to have a seat on the table, blah, blah, blah. All that is great and fantastic. Nothing wrong in that. But could you please get your administrative effectiveness, you know, up very, 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 you know, oiled and well done before you start to talk about strategy. So I think that just sums up a bit of what.
I mean, to add to it, Bumi.
Yeah.
I'm at CIPM today. I ain't doing anything HR. I'm doing pure admin. As director for membership and market development, I'm doing pure admin, program
coordinating.
That's all I'm doing. Managing 26 branches. I have 18 people in my team. In my last 3 years, I've been building stakeholder management competencies. I've been building competencies around project and program management. And guess how I'm doing it? I'm running a firm, Allen & Grant. I'm also running the largest team in CIPM. Planning the national conference where you have 3,000 people in attendance. Do you know what that takes?
That is not things.
Planning and running the AGM. I'm running the elections. The last 2 elections at CIPM, all that headache is my head. Planning and doing induction for people who get inducted. Planning and running physical induction is great. This year, I have run virtual AGMs with all the nuances that comes with it. 3 weeks ago that we ran in virtual induction, the second time this year, we had 670 people in attendance. That's pure admin, not HR. But all that is preparing me and strengthening my ability. See, I remember things in the night, in the middle of the night. My head will just pick up, oh, this has not been done, that has
What
not been
about when you
done.
are praying? What about when you are praying? That's the one that happens. I'll
I'm
be
telling
praying
you,
like this, and then I'll be thinking.
I've forgotten that I'm in a church program. I'm praying. So, by the way, what I then do is that I have diaries all around me.
Hmm.
I have diaries all around me, and I have pen all around. So I'll just scribble. God sees my heart, you know.
Exactly, scribble on the go, and we must work. And
That's the
and
thing.
God is the God of work. Thank you so much for excellently taking that question, Gbenga. We have a second question from Kende. Kende says, "What transferability skills are essential for transitioning to HR?" What transferable skills are essential for
What
transitioning to
career path
HR?
is that? What's the person's job role right now? Which
Kende,
market are you in?
Kende, can you unmute your mic and just answer this question?
Yes.
Why
Okay.
did you ask that question, and what are you doing right now?
But currently, I work as a supervisor for Spa and Recreation Department. The job
From
entails
what?
I work as a supervisor for the Spa and Recreation Department in an hospitality firm.
Okay.
Where were you before that?
Before then, I was working as a receptionist.
Okay.
So
Why do you want to come into HR?
okay, for me, it's been a long, like, let me say it's a calling. Then it's
I
been a
hear
long
you.
desire.
Who called you? Who called you?
It's been a desire for me to always want to be in the HR
And
field.
who
The
called
first
you?
time,
You say it's a calling.
it's something you just know from within that you want to do this thing. That is something you want to do.
So answer the question, why? Why do you want to do it? Those answers are great, but they are not strong enough.
Hmm.
Why? Why is it a? Let me see. This morning I was joking with my wife about something.
Okay.
Since this is a close group, I will see the reason this thing I'm doing to you saved me. So somewhere, somehow, for I don't know where I picked it up, I told myself I was going to marry a doctor. Right? It was just something I picked up. And I was seeing someone. We were friends, but it just wasn't working. And I asked that we give ourselves a break at a period. And I'm saying this because my wife had asked me a question around why is it that sometimes, believers say they heard God about something and yet they are now in trouble and the thing is not going on well. And part of the many answers I gave is that there are times when we have made our own desires idols in our hearts. And we literally do not know when we are hearing ourselves, but we are saying we have heard God. Or when it comes to things like this and career paths, what I've also noticed is that we don't know when and how sometimes people who we respected at certain periods in our lives where we're very vulnerable made impressions on us, on our minds. And then we pick up such vibes and now start calling it that this is what I should do with my life. So the best bet is to query that desire. Why do you want to do HR? You say it's in a long-term thing. You say, why? When did it come to your heart?
Okay,
And
I
if it's a
think
long-term thing, what did you study in university?
business administration.
You see why it can't be a long-term thing. Because if it was a very long-term thing, you should have studied HR in school. And just before you tell me that's what they gave you, be careful.
No, that's not what they gave me. When I asked questions, I was told that if I pass through the business administration background,
Wow.
I'll be able to find my feet easier in HR.
Who told you that?
That was long time 2013. One of my
Who?
a friend
A
that
friend. Was he or she in HR?
yes.
Where is the person working now? Was he in HR department or working in an HR
In
firm?
HR department. The person is working in HR department.
Which organization? Do you know who the person is?
Uh, at Intercontinental Hotel, then it was Intercontinental Hotel. One of the HR executives I met then.
So where is he or she working? Is he or she still in HR? Because I know Intercontinental Hotel is struggling.
No, I don't know where the person is at the moment now.
So imagine how you have built a career path around someone's advice whom you can't even go to now and say, okay, I've finished business admin, give me a job in your HR. I hope you get the idea. It's just that in my experience, a lot of people say these things, and if you say why, they can't answer it. That's why I put you through this stress, just to Ask yourself the question. So
Perfect.
it's been a long time calling. It's something I've always wanted to do. And when the more we dug deep into it, the best answer you've given is because a friend said it was something you could do,
No,
which
not
is
a
not
friend.
strong enough.
I actually went to, was like, I want to do something in human resource. I think I like to do something in this area. And she said, wow, fantastic. What do you study school? I've not been to school. Then she said, okay, if you could go through, if you're going to school, then you could do something in business administration. If you get something in business administration, you give you a better background to study, to do human
Okay, so
resource.
why do you think the person advised you to study business admin?
Because she believes, or I believe, or I think from my own perspective, having business administration background will give you a better fit to go
Why?
into you.
Why will it give you a better fit?
Because I think the whole human resource is around administration and business.
No, you
So,
you gave that answer because of what we just said about admin. No, don't worry, I'm messing with your head big time. But what I'm trying to get,
But Kehinde, this is not to make you feel uncomfortable. I mean, let me just jump
no,
in
I'm not
there.
uncomfortable. I'm not
Okay, great,
uncomfortable.
fantastic, great. So let's go ahead.
don't worry, I studied economics. But
Okay.
there is a link between economics and human behavior, which is the essence, human behavior and organizational behavior. And I can talk economics as an HR person, and I can talk HR as an economist. I can move between those because I know my why. I know why I am doing HR. And it's not because I like people or I'm good with people. Because that again is another general line that people say and people have picked up but did not query it. That's what I want you to go and do. Go and sit down with yourself 1 a.m. in the middle of the night. Why do I want to do HR? But to your question, which is what transferable skills can you bring into HR? One is I would advise you, go check up Alan and Grant on Instagram or any of the channels. We are currently doing a series on skills for the new economy. And we've mentioned almost like 15 skills that are very relevant in the new world of work, right? Go and read up on those things. There are quite a lot. But what you're doing right now, you are in supervisory role and you are rendering customer service related functions. What that does is it puts you in a position where you are constantly talking to different people and you are understanding differences in people. And I'm sure in some cases they stress you out, they frustrate you. All those things are good for you and you can bring them into the HR space because with HR, there's a science and an act around people. So you have to take your time to know people. What is behind human behavior from a science point of view. But on the other end is the more you interact with people, the more you understand why we are mad people, why we are good people, why we are wicked people from an experiential standpoint. And you can bring that into the HR space. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much, GT, for that. And I think that's very important. Now let me tell you why it's very good to have your why. So now people see me and then they see, oh, okay, she's head of it, she headed HR here, she has done this, she has done that and everything. But I remember that there was a time when I was struggling so much in my HR journey. Actually, I had to go back to ask myself that, please, did I make a mistake? Did I make a mistake coming into this profession? Because I didn't start as a HR professional. I read microbiology, I'd done customer service, I'd done operations, I'd done office administration. That was when I was exposed to HR, a bit of procurement, a bit of finance. And I think that was the time I made the decision that, okay, what do you want to do next? So it was either I wanted to be a supply chain expert, or I wanted to go into finance. That was a no-no. Or I wanted to go into HR, and then I just picked HR. So I didn't think it was my calling. It's not like I liked people. It's not like I liked people. No. In fact, I love my own company. I thrive the best when I'm reading my novel. So that was not it. But I loved what I was doing. But then when I now started encountering problems, which is normal during your career journey, you will have all manner of problems. All kinds of challenges. The challenges were so much that I had to start asking myself that, okay, but I asked God for this thing and I had prayed And I didn't force my way. The job just strolled into my life. It wasn't like I went to ask anybody. So, you know, did I make a mistake? I started asking myself that fundamental question. I felt that I had come into the wrong path, you know, because the problems was, I was having a lot of challenges. I think that was about 4 or 5 years ago. You know, but then I had to, just like Gbenga said, I had to go back to my why. What was the reason? You know, I understood I remembered what the reason was. I remembered why I transitioned. I also knew that, okay, I mean, 10 years from now, or even 5 years, or even 5 minutes from when I was feeling so bad, or 5 days after when I was feeling so bad, things will change, you know. And for me, I've always just had like an active plan for my career. So, I mean, don't be surprised if in the next 5 years, I'm no longer in the HR space and you just hear that Bumi is selling jewelry somewhere. That was the joke. So, next question is, which job post should, okay, was Kinde that asked the same question, Gbenga. He says, which job post should a starter be looking out for? I mean, I think, do you have anything to say to this? What job post should a
job
starter,
post.
yeah, should a
Job
starter be
post. I
looking
don't
out for?
understand.
Yeah, like a job role, I guess. What kind of job role should somebody that wants to get into
So,
HR be
number one,
looking for?
get any job. So, number one, make sure you are on a job, right? Make sure you are on a job. It's great if you can find any role, any opening in and around HR. It will be great, and we can pray about it, and God can open such doors, right? But just in case you do not, if you, like you, that you are in an organization, make the most of it. Do your best at it, right? And then develop such credibility in that organization where it's then easier for you to go to the head of HR, or go to the owner of the business and say, okay, you know what, I'm doing these exams, or this is what I want to do. I want to be given the opportunity to volunteer, to support HR, or to move over to HR. But any job that you have right now, any business, any, you know, even if it's Okoro and Sons, get that job. It may not pay you so much, it may pay you so much, start doing it. Then be your very best at it. And once you are there in your current organization, for instance, go and meet HR people, the HR guys, and say, what can I be doing to support you? I have some free time. Or what can I take over the weekend to do? And do that for a couple of weeks or months and get yourself to a point where you can come back to the same person and say, you know what, guys, I want to move completely into HR. And even if you don't, trust me, if you prove yourself well, the day the opportunity opens up, you will be the first person on their list. Okay?
Okay, thank you very, very much, Gbenga. And really, to just put some context to that, I mean, if you ask every leader right now, every HR leader about their story, about their journey, you will be humbled. You know, you will be amazed rather, because even those stories are humbling for us. Yeah. I know where I started from. I know the first job that I did. And the first job that I did, when my husband used to come and pick me up at that place then, I was dating him then, he used to ask me that, what are you doing here? Number one, it was in Mushi. Number two, it was a small scale industry in Mushi. It was in a lab. There was nothing happening in the lab. As in, there was nothing happening in the lab, because they just had to set up the lab because that was what NAFDAC required. But nothing was happening in the lab. So I used to go to the production line. They were making powdery insecticide. So imagine a production line that was powder. So when you go in the morning, you literally have to remove your shoes and wear rubber shoes. You know those rubber shoes that we wore in secondary school? Yeah, look. Bimbo will know look. So you will wear your look. I will go to work, or I've left my house, I'm going to office. So when I get there, I remove my shoes, wear the look, wear the lab coat, wear the hat, and then I'll sit in the production line because there was nothing going on in the lab. And then I'll be walking like a casual hand. Yoruba language was the lingua franca there, so they didn't used to speak English. So my husband used to ask me that, Bumi, what are you doing here? You are sticking out like a sore thumb in this place. But that was what I had, and I did it. And I walked my way out of that place. So don't despise humble beginnings. I think that is somewhere. Don't despise your humble beginnings. Everybody starts from somewhere.
My first job, I was a PA.
Okay. That's even nicer now. That sounds cool.
I was a PA, and my startup salary was 5K.
Wow. Wow. I did 17K, and you know,
Your starter salary was 120K, right?
cool. No, my startup salary was 17K. And when we finished, okay, I didn't finish with you guys. When we finished our work, so because you wear all those things, so we'll now literally line up in front of a tap outside to rinse off the powder off your leg. My goodness. And I was a babe, like the people that were toasting me used to come there sometimes. So it was so not cool at all, but it was what I had. Who is laughing there, Loretta? Why are you laughing? That's the truth. I believe in keeping it real. Gbenga, can you shed some light? Stop laughing, whoever that is. Can you shed some light? Can you shed?
God.
Yes, the toasters. They used to come there to look for me, and they'll be like, what are you doing here, please? Okay, can you shed some light on? So there are some people that have not even gotten jobs. Yeah, Gbenga. And I know that there's so many angles to this, from how your CV is, how your cover letter, what you should be doing or not doing on LinkedIn, to how you should network, to possibly, give yourself like a leg in the door with someone that could know someone that could know someone that could know someone that will give you the job. So scouting for jobs in general. Can you just advise, because we have some people like that here, what would you say, Gbenga? Hello, Gbenga.
Yeah, sorry. I
Okay.
was just breathing very heavily now because that subject in itself. So number one, everybody that is in that show, I want to say to you, please calm down. Don't beat yourself too hard. Somebody else is talking. Don't beat yourself too hard. Don't overstretch yourself, because first and foremost, that job market is first a demand and supply driven market, right? And there is not enough supply of jobs to cater for the demand that we have in the market. Did we all get that?
Yes.
There's not enough, particularly there's not enough across levels, particularly at entry level, no experience. Give me an opportunity to start. Give me an opportunity to learn. There's not enough job in that space, right? So let's get that out of the way. Number two, so this is a Christian meeting. What that then means, for instance, is you had better really double up on your faith project, because that is what you can then use to superimpose yourself, right? And still find opportunity, no matter how tight the supply of jobs are. Job supply. That's first and foremost. After that is now the whole issue around, and this is not the meeting for that. So if you expect God to open up doors for you and give you the right opportunities, then be prepared for that opportunity. One of my best advice will be, go get a book like one of my very good friends, a mentor and all of that, wrote. Getting a job is a job. Arusa wrote that book. Arusa Osewenge. Go and get that book. It's at Latana Ventures. Or check out for Arusa online and tell him that Gbenga said you want the book. Getting a job is a job. It answers all the things you need to know about it. Oh, I don't have a job. What do I do? From preparing to CVs to it. It has all that. Maybe I should also mention stylishly, and this one, by God's grace, it will be ready. Under the next 3 weeks to 1 month, I will finally put out my book, 10 Things to Do While You Are Unemployed.
Thank you.
And by God's grace, you will get it, right? 10 Things to Do While You Are Unemployed. Very practical, one of my best works ever in my life, right? But if there's anything I can leave with us today on this question is, lastly on this question is, it is possible there are still jobs. I see, for someone like, and you have to believe first that there are jobs, and forget the faith element of it. I am telling you, I'm in CIPM. I have a lot of HR friends. I know what's going on in the HR space. I run a practice. We are, at least that I know right now, we should have, it can't be less than 15 job roles that we are trying to fill at Allen and Grant. As it can't be less than 15. So there are jobs. Now a case of what are business looking for? Can we also hear me?
Yes, but it's back to being wobbly.
No, sorry. It should be. How about now?
Okay, it's better now. Yes, it's better
Oh,
now.
yeah. So there are jobs and businesses that are looking for newer skills, there are things that they are looking for in terms of so look at me, for instance. Let me give you an example. Anyone who tracks what I do on social media will tell you that before the last 3 months, I was all over the place. I didn't exactly have like a strategy around what I was doing. And right in my house was a niece from, my wife's end who is, did a service in the branding and marketing com space, S1U, and has been looking for a job, right? But she's been interning somewhere for a couple of months. And one of those days, he just came to me and said, "Okay, Uncle Gbenga, I have started a business." I said, "What is it?" He said, I've started a business as a virtual assistant." I said, "What will you be doing?" And she showed me an Instagram handle that she created. And she showed there how that she can help people like me to manage all their social media handles, create content, and do all those things. And I said, okay, to encourage you, I'll be your first customer. But the point is, I had a need, and she came to me with an evidence of skill, not knowledge. And I will explain that. Knowledge is, I went to university, I'm an accountant, I want to get a job, give me an opportunity to learn. No. Skill is, I have gone to school, I have learned branding and marketing comms, this is what I can do. And you are showing me what you can do, no matter how little. And you are whatever it is you are showing me, you are aligning it with a need that I have. You have a job. If you don't have a job, you have my attention. That is what I tell job seekers. Look at the different businesses that this thing that people say it is not working. Now you guys need to stop it. Give me. I want to come and work with you. Give me the opportunity to learn. No, don't learn while I pay you salary. Learn and have something to give me as value. Then I pay for it. That sounds harsh, but I'm not only in HR. I own a business. Why should you come learn at my expense? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, guys.
Yes.
But if someone comes to me and say, I have learned how to do ABC and I can do DEF, and in doing it, this is the problem I will solve. And you are able to align that competence to a problem that they have. You have attention and subsequently you can have a job. Now, that positioning or showing that you can do something is that where you bring it to your CV, your LinkedIn profile, your social media handles, the way you write online, all of those things where you need to bring it to. Let me share one testimony I did, one crazy thing I did many years ago when I was caught up studying risk management and doing a lot of things on Basel II and all of that. I had done a 3-day training on Basel II, even when banks were still looking for what to do up and down. And guess what I did then? I updated my resume and I wrote something about risk management or whatever it is. And I sat down and I looked at all the banks then were about 89 or so. I listed about 15 or 10 banks. And I did my research to find out the head of risk management, the head of HR, and the MD of about 10 to 15 banks. And I wrote specific letters to each of them.
Wow.
I put their name. So if you say GT Bank now, I wrote a letter to the Segun Agbaje, for instance, who wrote a letter to say Bumi Akano as head of HR in GT Bank. I wrote a letter to the head of enterprise risk management in GT Bank. So I had 3 letters going into one bank. And I did that for 10 to 15 banks. And I went to FedEx and I sent to all the banks. The day it landed, that evening, Access Bank called me. So I said, please, we want to speak with a certain Gbenga Totoyi. I said, yes, I am. Please, can you come for a meeting tomorrow? I said, yes, I can. I was all suited up and when I walked into the enterprise risk management unit in Access Bank, I could hear people start saying, who is this one? Is this the guy that wrote this letter? And I sat in a room. By the way, when I did that, I was not done with my part-time program in LASO at the time. I had a meeting with the head of risk at Access Bank because I made that move. Now, the point is, I had something they needed. and I spoke specifically to what they needed. So don't just have a clean LinkedIn profile, but use it to write, use it to, that thing you have learned in school, that you think you know you have to do something, write, offer advice. And when I ever Google your name and I see you on social media, don't just show your fine face, right? But use it to offer some sort of value. Then you will get someone's attention, and subsequently you get a job.
Amazing, Gbenga. Thank you so much. I mean, the way you the way you answered that question was just I don't know, it was a lot, and you even spoke, you said a lot, you know. So basically what I can hear, and I'm sure what we can take away from that, you know, for the job seekers is, first of all, hang in there, don't give up, but find a way to add value. Find a way to add value. There was this conversation also going on around HR circles, how, and I think maybe sometimes some of these things that we also say, some people take it literally and then they just go to the left with it. So you now see someone that hasn't done so much calling themselves on LinkedIn what they really are not. So that's not what we are saying. We're not saying,
let's even get that one started.
We're not saying you should go there and call yourself a HR expert when you've not even done HR at all, you know, and maybe what you've done is read books. Yes, it's fine that you've read books, but then experience and certifications, or experience and book knowledge, they are two different things. But what we are saying is that with the platform that you have right now, what he just said, just the last thing he said, with the platform that you have, because social media can really, really help you to project yourself. You know, it's amazing. 10 years ago when we started working, we didn't have all of this. And what we literally had to do, like Gbenga did, was to write to all the banks. He may not need you, if you want to do what Gbenga did then 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you may not necessarily need to do it in that way. You can go to your social media pages, LinkedIn or whatever, you know, write that same thing that you wrote, profile a solution, write it up in an article, and then tag all those companies.
Exactly.
You know, so you tag all those companies and then you have that reach. Now imagine that you're doing something like that maybe once a week, churning out relevant content, you know, some sort of value, whatever it is that you know, about your profession or about something that somebody needs, just write about it.
Bumi, so sorry to cut you. Let me give you an example. There's one guy who, I think 2 years ago, now, what am I even saying? It's over 2 years ago now. His name is Daniel, I think.
Okay.
Sent me some message on LinkedIn that mentorship, blah, 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 blah. You know, I will always answer. Okay. But I told him there was nothing I could do and all of that, right? Now, but I had asked my people to interview him. Do you know that in a matter of 1 week or two, we are still interviewing him? This guy had gone to update his LinkedIn profile that he was an intern at Allen and Grant. I was like, Egbami.
What is that?
You know, by the way, guys, I will have to wrap this up in like 5-10 minutes. I really need to go.
Yeah.
Right? But I was like, Egbami. So I now called, I said I need to speak with him, and then because I later saw that he was just eager, so I tutored him, he apologized, and that was it. But guess what? This guy apparently started stalking me. So some guys published a program that I was going to speak at physically. When I got there, I saw him. He was there. Which is what I do a lot. I have people that they think they're stalking me. I'm the one stalking them. I'm checking them out. What are they doing online? Which program did they attend? What are they saying in different WhatsApp groups? I'm just watching, right? And when we're done, this guy came to me. I tutored him. I encouraged him, and that was it. This is 2 years on. I still have my eyes on him.
Wow.
But guess what? He has moved on. He got an internship opportunity somewhere. And by the way, the guy now wrote me to say, okay, I just want to let you know, thank you. I'm not working with you, but this is where I am now. I say thank you. And almost anything he's doing, he will write me a message and I'll say thank you. There's another guy like that in PZ. This will at least be 4 years that he will get promoted. He will send me a message. You just send me a message. And I just watch what these two guys are doing online. And that's how we keep an eye on people. That's how we just keep an eye and see what people are doing. And that's it. You know? Yeah, let me take more questions. Just 1 or 2 more because I've got to go. I'm really sorry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions? Any further questions? If you have any questions, you can unmute your mics and ask, or you can throw it in the chat box. We have 3 more minutes. He has 3 more minutes. Goodness, do you have anything you want to ask?
Or have I been yamming dust?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So you guys should please just send in your feedback in the comment section so it doesn't look like we've been speaking into the air. 'Cause
I'm not wondering.
I know that you guys are there, so I've seen some comments. So you guys should just say thank you. So Gbenga, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making this. Okay, Goodness, you have something to say. Go ahead. You just raised your hand. Should I unmute you? Unmute yourself and ask.
Excuse me.
Hello, Goodness. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Okay. I'm not sure he wants to say anything specific, but Gbenga, everybody is saying thank you. Okay. So you can
Thank you,
unmute your
guys.
mics and just say thank you to Mr. Gbenga. Thank you so much, Gbenga.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I
Thank you,
appreciate
GT.
This
Thanks
has
a
been
lot, everyone.
awesome.
I
Thank
appreciate
you,
Has been
it.
sir.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Some last words. I'm using all my social media channels to try and be a bit more available in recent times. Follow, reach out, ask questions, drop a comment, learn all the things you need to learn as I share, right? That's one. You can, if you don't mind, check out Alan and Grant online as well. We are constantly sharing opportunities. Follow, be a part of what we are doing. Yeah. And lastly, you can check out GbengaTotoyi.com. Sign up for my newsletter. There's a lot to come out from there in the next couple of weeks. But thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure. I wish you all the best. If there's anything I'll say to every one of you, you have legitimate rights to have very successful careers. You may be struggling right now, you may be challenging right now, but keep pushing, keep asking for clarity, keep reaching out to people for help professionally, keep the right community, and above all, I am a living testimony of the grace of God that works for people when it comes to their careers. I still told Bumi this morning, I can't remember the last time I applied for a job. I always get called, I always get asked to come do something, and then we negotiate, and then I take up the job. And then they will tell me, oh, yeah, give us your CV for filing. And I know it too well that it is a special grace from God. And that's what I wish every one of you in this place. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, you will see extremely strange acts of God as touching your careers. Okay?
So much.
All the best. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye. Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So this is the end of our session for today. Thank you for Group 2, Team 2, for the wonderful book review. Anne, Bukumi, and Deborah, they did very well. And everybody else that supported them on that group. That was teamwork in action. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed. Team 3 will be up next week to continue with the book review session. I'll send all your regards to GT. He really was, I mean, he just made our time to be with us today because there's so many other things that he's doing. Without further ado, we can end the meeting. I don't know if anybody else, if you have any question, just ask me in the group and I would address that. We've been here for like 2 hours now. I think it's time for us to go. Thank you so much for joining. See you guys next week. Next week, okay, before we go, so we are thinking of having a learning, what's it called again? Learning Summit next week. So we've been doing a lot of collaborations in the HR community. I was telling Loretta and Ebachi earlier on. So what we are doing within the HR community is all the leaders are coming together as much as possible so that, you know, more people can take advantage of the individual networks that we have. So maybe I know Gbenga, someone in another community might not know Gbenga, and then if I can open a Gbenga session to everyone, then everybody benefits. I'm just using that as an example. So one of the leaders in the HR specialist group is doing like a summit next week. So the lady that was supposed to come in to speak with us next week on work-life balance, If we are able to conclude with that learning session, she will just be added to the list of speakers. The plan is to have 2 sessions on Saturday and Sunday, 5 speakers each. I'm coming there. We're going to have 5 speakers each on Saturday and Sunday, just 2.5 hours per day. So each speaker will just come in for 30 minutes and then speak on specific HR areas. So somebody will come on comp and ben, performance management, recruitment, various subjects like that. We'll have that. The lady for work-life balance will come in. And we'll try and have it before the time for our book review so that we can still have our book review as scheduled. So yes, that's for that. So that's what we are thinking for next week. We've also gotten Gloria Edozian. I don't know if you know Gloria Edozian. I mean, I spoke with her about 2 days ago. Today, she sent me a profile today. Gloria is the LinkedIn visibility queen. And her session, I mean, I worked with the team lead for HR Beginner 1. Her name is Nonso. She was the one that said, oh, she wanted to get Glory on board. Her name is not Gloria, sorry, her name is Glory. And she wanted me to speak with Glory since I have a relationship with Glory, or I speak with, not like I have a relationship with her. It's only all this social media. You just be liking and commenting on people's posts. And then all of a sudden you become acquaintances. Somebody is laughing. And so I reached out, Loretta, why are you laughing? And then I reached out to her and I was blowing drama. Oh, Glory, we want you to come and talk. She said, why are you talking? I go to Covenant. I'm coming. I'll take the session. Wahoo. So Glory session is not even just going to be for HR subgroup. It's going to be for the entire community. And the governor of our group has even said she's going to share her session to the entire Covenant community group. So it might not even be Zoom. We might be having that, on like a live stream. So we might have to stream it through all the social media platforms available. She has confirmed that she'll be coming on Sunday, because we all have sessions on Saturdays. So she's going to be coming on Sunday, and that will be Sunday the 23rd at 2 p.m. So you guys should watch out for the flyer for that event. That's coming. Everybody is going to come together, for that event. That promises to be very, very impactful. LinkedIn is important, guys. You guys have to learn how to use your LinkedIn network to your advantage, not just for getting jobs, for increasing your social networks, your professional networks, making new friends, even closing business deals. And LinkedIn is not only relevant to only professionals, even MD CEOs and owners of businesses also use LinkedIn for their advantage. And that's why the governor said she was going to beam that out to everyone. So I'm just talking about all the various things that we have lined up so that you guys will know that, okay, everybody is really, really working hard, just to make sure that we have like a very, very rich experience before the semester closes out at the end of the month. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all. See you in our WhatsApp group for any further discussions. Peace out. Bye-bye.